What's up, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. Um, I just wanted you guys let you know that yesterday we finally broke the century mark. We actually made over 1,000 subscribers. We're actually at 1,010 subscribers. I want to personally thank all my supporters, all my subscribers, and all the OGs of the LDBC for making this possible, and we're continuing to make bigger and better things as we continue to grow the channel into what we want it to be. And I just want to give my personal thanks to all of you for making this possible. What I'm saying? And if you want to see more basketball content, always tune into Basketball Conversations every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, always, when we discuss basketball related news, topics, and everything else you want to talk about. So let's just get down to business here. I mean, I got to say, it's been a rough year for everybody that's been living through with this pandemic. You know what I mean? Even myself included, because I just recovered from COVID-19 last month. But the one guy that is experiencing a lot of rough times has basically been Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, this kid right now, he's really been having the roughest year of his life. Um, as most of you guys know, or if you don't know, um, he lost his mother back in April due to the pandemic. Um, she basically died at basically was in a medically induced coma, and basically died from a respiratory disease that was caused by COVID-19. And ever since that time, it's been reported that he's lost six other, family members due to this pandemic, including his mother. So all in all, he's lost at least seven, family members. And according to reports by Malika Andrews of ESPN, Towns hasn't been in a good place, since his mother died. You know what I'm saying? And it's been really hitting him hard. And the thing that he's been doing, he's basically been using his social media platforms to pretty much open up to the public about what's been going on with him personally, and how he's been able to try to cope with the huge losses that he's been doing, this year. So this is a statement he posted in a video uh, early in November. This is what he had to say, end quote. I think for me, I think if I had to say how I'm coping and I am healing from this, I'm trying to heal myself through others. I'm trying to do as much as I can for my sister and my father, trying to take care of my friends, and I'm trying to heal myself through them. It helped. It's helped. But I think one day I know it's creeping up, and I feel it every day. It's gonna creep up, and I have to find a way to deal with it actually. That's why I wanted to do this. I thought this would be a therapeutic. This would be there. That would be therapeutic for me to admit that these things are real, and how I feel is real, and being able to try to find some normalcy. And I really feel for him on that. Pretty much, the U.S. has pretty much seen 13.5 million cases of this virus, and it's basically taken 267,000 lives, by far the highest around the world. You know, I get very, very disgusted when people try to say that this whole pandemic has been pretty much a hoax. Tell that to the thousands of people in this country that have lost their lives due to this pandemic, millions of family members that have suffered through this. Even me, I went through this experience. All right, and thankfully it wasn't bad, and I was able to recover in 2 weeks without any problems. I still occasionally would get a minor cough here and there, but you know I felt the heat of this virus. Okay, and the bottom line is that a lot of these athletes that you watch every day, they have their lives too, and it's not cool when I see people take shots at them because they believe that all the stories about what's going on with this virus. It's really disgusting to me. And right now, this winter, it's only going to get worse from here on in. There's been record-setting amount of cases, even here in the state of Minnesota. Okay, the cases are going to go spiking through the roof. You understand what I'm saying? Even if the vaccine is going to get shipped eventually across the U.S. by next year, it is going to take a long time for a lot of people to mentally recover from this whole pandemic. The U.S. the U.S. failed miserably in their response to this virus, and now it's become the biggest hotspot around the world. All right, and I appreciate an athlete like Karl Anthony Towns, who's only 25 years old, and basically you would think that he's having the time of his life being a professional athlete. But what people don't understand is there's a lot of responsibility that a lot of these athletes put on their shoulders. And sometimes, they can handle that kind of responsibilities. The others can falter from that. And I really appreciate how Carl Anthony Towns is really opening up of what he's been going through. He lost his mother, for crying out loud. Think about that. The one person that gave you life in this world, and she died from this virus. I mean, if I'm sure there's a lot of Americans right now that felt the same familiar, situation that Carl Anthony Towns went through. All right. And don't think for a second that I'm fearful about my mother because she also works in a hospital too. I'm always fearful that every day she might end up getting positive and it's going to be a struggle for her just to try to survive for 2 weeks. You know, people have to understand this is a rough time in our society, and we have to do a better job of taking care of each other. All right. And if we don't have people to be accountable to their actions of what's going on with this virus, it's only going to get worse. And you're going to see more people die from this. I don't care what side of the fence you are. This is not a political video, okay? This is basically more of a message video. Be careful out there. This virus is not to be messed around with. All right. And for any people that keep saying that this virus is a hoax, how about you endure that virus for 2 weeks and you tell me that is a hoax? You think about that every time you post something negligent and stupid. All right. And I really respect Carl Anthony Towns even more. I think to me, I'm seeing more of a maturation process a bit with Carl Anthony Towns debate on the things he's been going through. You know, it's horrible that he's lost his mother, and it's pretty much a crippling effect of losing a parent in that way. She's not going to be able to see him in the prime of his life in terms of professionally, personally, you know, seeing him maybe having his first, child, all those things, you know, and now he has to, keep an eye on the other members of his family to make sure that they're all taken care of. These are the kind of things that people don't realize and don't understand that all these athletes go through all the time right now. And let me also put it like this: the NBA continues, to have COVID cases. It's still spiking through the roof. As of last week, there have been 48 positive COVID tests in the NBA right now. All right, and yes, the bubble thing during last summer worked very well in terms of limiting the amount of cases. But we're not having the bubble this year, guys. Okay, they're going to be basically playing basketball in various arenas, and you're going to be playing on a very bit of a short schedule with 70 plus games. So it's going to be a very, very, difficult challenge for a lot of these professional leagues to continue to monitor, their athletes and make sure that everyone else is protected. Because if an athlete ends up dying from this virus, God forbid, it is going to be the one thing that might bring much more attention to this. But more importantly, it's going to be the one thing that's going to force the leagues to make a decision. Are they going to continue to let this continue on, or are they actually going to do something about it and maybe shut down their leagues until the whole thing slows down? Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. These owners and a lot of these commissioners, they don't will not shut it down and risk losing a lot of money. All right. Even both of the presidents, both Biden and Trump, they've made it very, very clear they're not going to have any intentions of shutting down the country. All right. So we have to do a better job of taking care of ourselves and monitoring our symptoms and just continuing to practice social distancing. But I really appreciate Carl Anthony Towns for coming out and talking about all these things he's been going through this year. I mean, it's been a rough year for pretty much for everybody, not just him. A lot of people, have suffered from this virus. We've lost a lot of loved ones, due to this virus, and I'm very, very scared for this winter. You know, you try not to think about it. You try not to, dwell on it too much, but you can't. It's very, very difficult. Knowing to the fact that, people are going to end up getting this virus. Some of it may have it worse. Some may have it least worse. But we have to continue to to just taking care of ourselves and just being alert and being safe. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about this whole thing. I felt that it was very touching for Karl Anthony Towns to really just open up about what he's been going through, and hopefully a lot more athletes can take cue from this and start opening up to their stuff. All the pandemic stories that they've been going through, because I'm sure he's not the only one. So salute to Karl Anthony Towns for doing what he had to do, and I hope that this was going to create much more awareness for a lot of these athletes to just open up to their own stories, and hopefully this will get people to really open their ears and see what's really going on behind the scenes of what these athletes go through in this pandemic, because they're not invincible. They're people just like you and me, and they have feelings and they have huge responsibilities on their shoulders that a lot of us may not be able to handle. And certainly for a guy like him, losing family members left and right, including his own mother, there's a lot of people that may not have handled to what he's been handling in this right now. So I really have a lot more respect for him for opening up to what he's been going through. So that's just my 2 cents about the whole thing. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.